Welcome to Canadian Football League Weekly, presented by the World of Football. Each week, we're here to recap the games played up north in the CFL, and we also look ahead to next week's games. Our mission here is to educate American football fans on the teams and players in the CFL in the hopes that you will come to love this league as much as we do. I'm Randy Snow, and I'm joined by my son, Adam.
Hi, everybody out there watching in YouTube, X, and Facebook land. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing wonderful. Another good weekend of Canadian football games. Lots of stuff to talk about, Dad. So
Yeah.
uh, I don't know what else you want to talk about, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go too. Let's just get right into it. We have scores from week 12 in the CFL, and it started off on Thursday night with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeating the Montreal Alouettes 26-13. Winnipeg was up 10-3 at the end of the first quarter, and they were up 16-10 at halftime. Winnipeg also led 16-13 after three quarters and shut out Montreal 10-0 to cruise to a 26-13 win. This was unusual because Montreal has now lost 4 games in a row after starting out 5-2 this year. I mean, they were the hottest team in the East, and now, boy, they are slipping.
Yeah, you hate to see it. I mean, Winnipeg's always going to be a tough out. I know they haven't been their typical peak selves, but I mean,
Right.
what is this? The fourth quarterback that started now for Montreal this season.
Yeah.
Because I believe it was quarterback James Morgan's first start in the CFL. He had his ups, he had his downs, kind of what you'd expect from your first start in a CFL game. So I don't know. I feel bad for the kid because he had a couple of nice throws. Had a couple of not so nice throws, but Winnipeg. What can you say about that team? They usually find a way to win. This, like I said, might not be their strongest team, but they still got a good team, and I'm not shocked by the outcome.
Yeah. And ironically, this is also the last Thursday night game of the season for the
Yeah.
CFL. So no more Thursday night football here in the States on CBS Sportsnet. And they've only got a handful of games left on CBS Sportsnet until the end of the regular season. So I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed. I mean, I've gotten used to Thursday nights, tuning in to a CFL game, and whether I fall asleep on the couch watching it or, I look forward to it. I look forward to Thursday night CFL games.
Yeah, this is the part of the season where now it's NFL football's coming, college football's taking over.
Yep.
So down here in the States, yeah, we're going to be eating real good in terms of football viewing. But for us, obviously, we don't want to see the CFL fall through the cracks. It does think that
Right.
they don't have I won't say a better contract, because I feel like they've had a good thing going with CBS Sportsnet. But
Right.
you would wish that there was a way that they could get more eyeballs on them in the States with all this other football, because people are just churning for looking for anything.
Right.
And to not have this as an option to be like, well, this college football game stinks on a Thursday night or a Friday night. Let me find something that's good. I mean, it'd be nice to have a Canadian game to fall back on. But I mean,
Yeah.
not everybody knows about the great CFL Plus. Nobody, outside of, Canadian football fans and a few Americans down here who appreciate the CFL as much as we do. So,
Hey, that's why we're here.
it
We're
is
here to
why we're
educate
here.
everybody.
Yeah. So we'll see going forward. I mean, I'll have CFL Plus ready to go whenever there's like a game about to go
Sure.
on. I'll try to
Sure.
catch it. But yeah, it's going to be tough now with a lot of good college games coming, a lot of good NFL stuff coming. It is going to be tough. And I just don't want to lose the CFL in that shuffle.
Exactly.
All right. Should I jump into some stats?
Yeah, let's do the stats for this game.
All right. So we're going to start with Winnipeg, as quarterback Zach Collaros went 27 of 31 for 263 yards passing. He threw a touchdown. He also ran the ball for 13 yards. Running back Brady Oliveira ran the ball 16 times for 137 yards and a touchdown. He also led all receivers with 9 catches for 73 yards. Kicker Sergio Castillo had 4 field goals during the day, so he made all 4 of them, the longest of which was from 41 yards. For the Montreal Alouettes, quarterback James Morgan, as we mentioned a little bit ago, it was his first start in the CFL. He had a little bit of action last week. He went 18 of 33 in his debut for 198 yards. He also threw a touchdown and a pair of really rough interceptions.
Yeah.
Wide receiver Alexander Hollins had 5 catches for 132 yards. So that's about it for the Alouettes there. Not a whole lot to write home about. The couple of really good passes that Morgan threw.
Yes.
40-yard like deep shots. The guy caught it in the breadbasket. It was awesome,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah, Winnipeg is just such a resilient team, and you go into a game against Winnipeg with your fourth quarterback of the season, it's going to be rough, and it was rough. Morgan looked good at times. Everybody looked good at times, but it just was not enough to win this week. That's all.
I know people always question, the idea of like, well, wasn't this team good last year? What happened? Well, for Montreal right now, having all those injuries and problems at the quarterback position does
Yeah.
not help you.
Yep.
So,
All right, let's move on to the Friday night game that saw the Edmonton Elks defeat the Ottawa Redblacks 30-20. Edmonton led 3-0 after the first quarter, and in the second quarter, running back Javon Leake returned a punt 80 yards for a touchdown to give the Elks a 17-7 lead at halftime. Ottawa closed the gap to 17-14 at the end of the third quarter, but Edmonton added 10 points in the fourth quarter for the 30-20 road win. You never know about Edmonton. They've looked so bad at the beginning of the season. They've had some really good games lately, and boy, this was one of them.
yeah, Edmonton, they're getting hot now. What is this, 3 straight?
Yes.
So three straight games for them. They are starting to figure stuff out. And this was something that I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to do or not. But since they went to Fajardo full time, I think he is now 4-1 as the starter. They started the season, what'd you say, 1-6?
Yeah, I think he's 3-1 as a starter. I think he started 4 games.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he started 4 games, so he's 3-1 in that time because he lost the first
Right.
game. He's won 3 straight
Right.
since. So quarterback play in this league is very evident. I mean, if you don't have a good quarterback, I mean, you can still probably be okay, but to put together a win streak, to be competitive, you need a guy who's a field general. Fajardo's seen it. He's been out there before. So I think this is a good spot for them. We talked about Trey Ford, now his future's up in the air. I think with Fajardo playing as well as he has been and getting the Elks where they're at right now, I'm really happy to see the Elks, starting to make a push. We'll look at the standings a little later, but it's interesting. I'm curious to see if they're going to keep climbing and make things interesting here towards the back half of the season.
Yeah. Fajardo's been a good quarterback for years. He was with Montreal for a couple of years and was really, really good there. And I think it's just taken him a while. They started Trey Ford in the season, and he didn't do so well, so they kind of threw Calaros in, and it's taken him a while
Fajardo.
to get his. Oh, I'm sorry. Fajardo. I'm the wrong quarterback. It took him a while to get in the groove, to get in sync with his receivers and everything. So, like you said, yeah, they're peaking right now at a good time, and we'll just see how far they can go with this combination of players.
Yeah, we'll see. I won't say peaking. They better not peak this early. You got a lot of season left if you're the Elks.
Right.
But it's nice to see what they can do because they got a lot of great pieces.
Oh yeah.
We talk about Justin Rankin quite a bit. They got a couple other guys on the roster. I'm sure we'll talk about here when we get to the stats. But they've got some dudes on this team. It was just a matter of getting it all to work, and they got to take advantage of a team in the Red Blacks who have kind of been in a similar situation all season. I feel like where they've got the pieces too. It's just, can they put it together consistently? They've had different quarterbacks in and out due to injury and whatnot. So you got to take advantage of that. And Edmonton's done it. I think Edmonton of old would not have taken advantage of that. But this Edmonton team is very much improved compared to the teams in years past.
Right. Yeah, let's get into the stats. Go ahead and
start
those off.
All right, here's your stats from this game, everybody. Edmonton quarterback Cody Fajardo. We've talked about him quite a bit. 22 of 28 passing for him, 270 yards, no touchdowns, but he did throw an interception during the game. So very, very field general role in this one. He also ran the ball for 57 yards, and he did get a rushing touchdown. So he did get in there. Wide receiver Curly Gittins Jr. had 6 catches for 71 yards. Kicker Vincent Blanchard was 3 for 3 on field goals, the longest of which from 35 yards. For Ottawa, quarterback Dustin Crum was in there. He went 23 of 29, 277 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for 59 yards and had a rushing touchdown. So a pair of running quarterbacks in this one. Wide receiver Keelan White led the receivers with 5 catches for 68 yards. So
Yeah, it's interesting that both quarterbacks were around 270 yards. Both completed 28, 29 passes, and they each had over 50 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown in this game. So very comparable stats for the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they'd be complete mirror images. I mean, the stats obviously lead you to believe that. I felt like Edmonton's D line has looked very much improved. I felt like they were getting in Crumb's face quite a bit during this one. But hey, like I said, mirror image teams for the most part too. Talked about that a little bit ago. So Edmonton just took advantage. Edmonton did what they needed to do. So I'm actually really happy for them. I'd like to see them keep stringing some wins together. I want my chaos. I want it to be interesting here. I want Edmonton to get good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fans in Edmonton want that too. They've been down the last couple of years, and they are ready to make a playoff run with this team in Edmonton.
Yep.
All right, we have the CFL show. We know because you're watching it, but we
Hey, yeah,
also
thank
do
you.
a we also do a weekly audio podcast. Well, which has turned into a video podcast and a live video podcast. It's called This Week in the World of Football. And on this week's show, which we'll be recording tomorrow, which is going to be episode number 408. Some of the things we're going to be talking about are the Las Vegas Nighthawks becoming champions of the Indoor Football League.
It's just Vegas. You keep adding the loss. It's just the Vegas.
Vegas Nighthawks, yes. Keep correcting me. That's what you love to do. Let's see. The semifinal matchups are set in the European League of Football. And is Notre Dame really changing its leprechaun logo? We're going to talk about that too. You know me, I hate change, so I'm not in favor of anything that changes.
I can't wait to have that conversation. That should be fun.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the last two games of the CFL weekend, both on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. The Toronto Argonauts defeated the BC Lions 52-34 in this game. BC led 13-14 at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, Toronto defensive back Benji Franklin intercepted a pass and returned it 57 yards for a touchdown, which helped lead the team to a 28-21 Toronto lead at halftime. Toronto extended their lead to 42-30 after the third quarter, and the Argos went on to cruise to a big win at home, 52-34. Just their third win of the season. To me, in my mind, these were the highlights of the week. There were so many great plays in this game, interceptions, fumbles, sacks, and just so many great catches. Just a really, really fun game to watch. So, people should go to cfl.ca and watch these highlights. It's like a 10, 12-minute package, but man, what a great set of highlights from this game. Did you watch any of this game?
So, truth be told, I got in a little late at the start of the game, and I believe Toronto was down. I saw that, and I was like, oh, man, here we go again. Another Argos letting another one go. Boy, these guys stink. I hate seeing it. And we had a bunch of other stuff going on, so I couldn't watch the whole thing. So I tuned in a little later, and then I was like, wait a minute. I saw the score and I was like, holy smokes, what did I miss? Outside of a great uniform matchup, by the way. Having Toronto in those powder blues, and then
all blue.
And then you had BC in the black. I was just like, this is awesome uniform matchup. I want to see more of this kind of stuff. When the uniforms contrast like that and they don't clash, I need more of it. So that was awesome look. But Arbuckle was slinging it. We'll talk about his stats here in a second. A lot of big plays during this game. Like you said, a lot of great highlights. This one was just a fun one to catch up with. I was like, I can't believe I missed this. It was a lot of fun. British Columbia, I don't know what their deal is. Every year there's that one team that we talk about. Like 1 week you're like, oh, these guys are going places. And then nope.
Yeah.
You don't know what happens. Toronto, This is one they finally didn't let slip through their fingers. Maybe it got away a little bit to begin with, but Toronto stayed in it. So people would I want to say we're labeling them as the worst team in the league. You see their power rankings, whatever. Toronto was the worst. I get it. They had the worst record, but by no means I think they were the worst team. They have talent. They just lost some shootouts. And here they go. They got a shootout win. And it was awesome to see. Like you said, best highlights of the week. Go check those ones out. I had fun watching this one. Even watching the highlights, I'm like on the edge of my seat watching the highlights on my big TV. And my fiance was just like, is this game live? And I'm like, no, it's not. She's like, well, then why are you sitting on the edge of your seat? Because I'm like, because it's awesome, because it's great. That's what the CFL is.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch this game live. In fact, I was only able to watch one game live all weekend, and that was the Thursday night game this week. Everything else I had to check out the highlights. But man, oh man, there's a lot of great plays, especially these last two games on Saturday. Both of these games were really, really good. And of course, being Argos fans like we are, I'd love to see the Argos win. It's sad that it's only their third win of the season, but man, what a great win, and really gave the fans something to talk about.
Yeah, you were talking about, Dad, that you were busy this weekend. What were you doing?
I was ziplining down in Tennessee. Uh,
Oh, is
wasn't
that
something I really wanted to do, but your mom wanted to, and I said, okay, if you're going to do it, I'll do it with you. And I'm glad it's over. Your sister asked me if it was fun, and all I said was, "We survived. It's over, and I don't think I'm doing it again." That was my
oh,
answer.
that's unfortunate because I think that we need more. We need videos. We need. I mean, here it is, everybody. Here's a look at that man. So instead of watching Canadian football, he was out
uh,
ziplining. Yeah, and even Royce in the chat. What's happening, guys? I'm still shocked. Randy went ziplining. All right, Royce. Yeah, we're shocked too. So
Well, in that picture of you, the second picture, the picture on the right there, if you look way in the distance, you'll see your mom. She's that little black dot,
yeah, yeah.
way in the distance. Every time we did 6 of these zip line things, and she was always leaving before me, so I was always chasing her, and that was a really long one, that particular one there.
Hey, I'm just glad you had fun. Uh, I mean, I'm surprised you didn't have a CFL game on your phone while you were ziplining. That's what I would have done.
No, no, I had a death grip on those handlebars. I was not letting go for anything, even though I was all harnessed up. Uh, no, it took me definitely out of my comfort zone. But that's why I only got to watch one CFL game this week, was because of that.
And then Tim over on the Facebook, zip lines are fun. Such an adrenaline rush. Randy, did you poop your pants?
No, I did not. In fact, your mom and I did not eat anything that entire morning. I think I maybe had 3 grapes for breakfast because I
Oh,
did not want to have anything in my stomach at all.
oh, man. I would have loved to have heard a hurl story, but that's fine.
Uh, no, no hurling. Nothing out either end. It was just zip lining.
Yep. Okay, so should we get back to the stats? Should I
Yeah,
get
let's
that
get back
back?
to some CFL stuff.
Oh
That's me
yeah,
with a
let's go.
helmet on, but it was not a football helmet.
All right, guys. Here's the stats from that game. Toronto quarterback Nick Arbuckle went 26 of 33 for 430 yards passing with
Woo.
3 touchdowns in this one.
Yeah.
He also had a rushing touchdown. Running back Spencer Brown ran the ball 19 times for 85 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Jake Herslow had 5 catches for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's been awesome. He even had the play a week or two ago that we talked about where he leapt that guy. He just
Yep.
awesome. And
Yep.
then wide receiver Dejon Brissett had 4 catches for 118 yards. For British Columbia, Nathan Rourke, quarterback there for the Lions, went 20 of 31 for 326 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. He also ran for 47 yards. James Butler ran the ball 11 times for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. And wide receiver Keon Hatcher had 7 catches for 131 yards.
Yeah, this was just an awesome game. Like I said, this was my highlights of the week. I highly recommend everybody go check out those highlights. This was an awesome
Why
game.
can't Toronto play like this every week?
I know it. I know it.
Ugh.
They're the defending Grey Cup champions for gosh sake. Let's get it's not too late to start a run for the playoffs. So keep it up, Toronto.
It's
You're
not.
looking good.
Hey, everybody's still in it. Nobody's been eliminated.
Yes.
Things are just getting good. There's so much interesting stuff still happening in the CFL. So much can happen and change in the last, what do we have? 6 weeks, maybe? Uh,
Yeah.
7, 8 weeks. I think it's 21, 20
Yeah.
weeks. So
21 weeks, and this is week
okay,
12.
so we got about 8ish. So we got about 8ish weeks. And so much can happen between now and then. We've seen it happen. Remember last year when we almost wrote off the Blue Bombers?
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake. So don't write a team
Yep.
off just yet, guys.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's move on to the last game of the week. This was a Saturday night game. This was an awesome game. The Calgary Stampeders defeated the best team in the league, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, by the score of 32-15. Calgary led 7-2 after the first quarter, but Saskatchewan held a 1-point lead at halftime, 15-14. But it was all Calgary in the second half as the Stampeders scored 18 unanswered points, shutting out Saskatchewan in the second half for that 32-15 win at home. To me, this was the game of the week. Maybe not the highlights of the week, but this was the game of the week.
I mean, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say game of the week. I think the results were very interesting. I think at the end of the season, we are going to be salivating at the Western Conference, the Western matchup in the playoffs. Yeah. All those games should be fascinating to keep an eye on. Regardless, whoever gets the top seed, any of these teams that end up in that West, it's going to be thrilling because Calgary, when they're great, are awesome and electric. Vernon Adams has been so much fun to watch on the Calgary Stampeders roster. Even though he can still be hit and miss, I'm really digging him as a part of this team. He's really given them a different electricity on the offensive side of the ball. So that's been a lot of fun. And for Saskatchewan, hey, you can't win them all. I'll just say that. Yeah, you had a rough second half. You were in Calgary. I'm not writing them off of one win, but it just goes to show you, while they still might be the best team, in all three phases, but you got to be buttoned up. I don't know if they were taking Calgary lightly or what the deal was, but if you want to stay at the top, you got to maybe button up a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Saskatchewan on a bye last week? I think they were on a bye last week. I may be wrong.
Let me double check real fast.
But let me go over some of the game notes here. Saskatchewan quarterback Trevor Harris was sacked 4 times in this game. That Calgary defense was just awesome. Of course, Saskatchewan being shut out in the second half was unusual. Both of Saskatchewan's losses this year, they're 8-2 now. Both of those losses have come against Calgary. So Calgary has kind of had their numbers so far, and it was just the second loss of the season for Saskatchewan, but they still have the best record in the CFL, and they have just a 1-game lead over Calgary now in the Western Division. So, yeah this Western Division with Calgary, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, BC, my gosh, this is going to be a really great end of the season.
So it was actually the Stampeders who had a bye the week before.
I was thinking it was Saskatchewan. All right.
But I mean, they took advantage of that bye week. They prepped and they got ready to go, and they might be the kryptonite for the Rough Riders. So
yeah, we'll see.
That'll be something to keep an eye on. That should be very interesting. Okay. So let's look at some stats from this game as I scroll down and make sure I got everything set. Calgary quarterback Vernon Adams was 14 of 21 for 222 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns, had a couple of rough interceptions. Running back Dedrick Mills ran the ball 16 times for 78 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Dalen Baldwin led the receivers with 3 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. Calgary kicker Rene Paredes only kicked 1 field goal during this game, but it was from a whopping 53 yards out.
Yeah.
And then for Saskatchewan, quarterback Trevor Harris was 15 of 23, 205 yards passing for 2 touchdowns and a pair of interceptions. Running back A.J. Olette ran the ball 15 times for 65 yards. And wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson had 4 catches for 112 yards for the Rough Riders. Yeah, that Rough Riders offensive line, they were put through the ringer in this one. It just seemed like, especially towards the end of the game, Calgary they were wanting that quarterback sack real bad. They got to him a couple times.
Yeah.
So
4 times total.
Man. So they are ready to go when it's against Saskatchewan. So in the future, keep that in mind if you're a betting person, because Calgary will probably give the Rough Riders a run for their money. But I'd like to see the Rough Riders bounce back from this one, another tough loss, and I think they will. But we're sitting in a good spot. This just makes it even more interesting. I would have hated to have seen the Rough Riders just completely, run the gamut the rest of the season. You like to see a little bit of hardship. So good on Calgary, and we'll see what Saskatchewan does to bounce back, because I still like Saskatchewan as my Grey Cup pick, I think, right now. I haven't solidified it or stamped it officially. That's where I'm leaning.
Okay. And on bye this week was the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So let's talk about those standings. And we're going to start in the West that is so competitive. You've got Saskatchewan with an 8-2 record, followed by the Calgary Stampeders at 7-3. You've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 6-4, the BC Lions at 5-6, and the Edmonton Elks at 4-6. So really, nobody's out of contention there in the West. at all. And then you look at the East Division, you've got the Hamilton Tiger Cats at 6-4, the Montreal Alouettes at 5-6, Toronto Argonauts at 3-8, and the Ottawa Red Blacks at 3-8. So, like you said, nobody's out of it yet, and we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks.
Yep, and we got the big Labor Day weekend coming up, so that'll be a lot of fun. So a few teams are going to get a bye. A few teams are going to play later in the week, so you get maybe a little extra rest. So this should be great. We're hitting that stretch of the CFL season that's usually the most fun. It's these teams jockeying for position, and probably a lot more division matchups coming down, the rest of the way. So I think we're going to be in for a lot of fun stuff between here and going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, this coming weekend, week 13, it's going to be Labor Day weekend, and only 3 games this week. But all these games are matchups, perennial matchups on Labor Day that are all teams within the same province. So you've got Winnipeg versus Saskatchewan on Sunday, and then you've got 2 Monday games being Labor Day. It's big holiday up there for CFL. So one game is Toronto versus Hamilton, and the other game on Monday is Edmonton versus Calgary. So you've got on bye Montreal, BC, and Ottawa, 3 teams on bye. All 3 of these games are going to be on CBS Sportsnet. So you will be able to see all 3 of these games on your TV here in the States. This is going to be a fun weekend of CFL action.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this Toronto Hamilton game now. Now that Toronto showed that they can hopefully put up a fight, because I believe Hamilton gave them a good spanking the last time these 2 teams played. So I'm very anxious to watch that one on Labor Day. I do have a prior engagement, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to sit and watch this game completely live. I might have to be that guy at the Labor Day party, just kind of looking at my phone in one hand, hot dog in the other. But
like when we were at the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio, watching the Lions play, and you were watching a Calgary CFL game. I think it was Calgary.
Hey, it was the Calgary, Red Blacks, and
on your phone,
Stampeders.
Watching that.
Oh yeah, I will try. If I can't, I will sneak some football onto that phone. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so a big holiday weekend coming up. Even though it's only 3 games, you'll be able to see all 3 of them here in the States.
What game are you looking forward to?
Well, of course, I'm rooting for Toronto, but I think that the Winnipeg Saskatchewan game could be very interesting, and so much for Edmonton and Calgary also. I mean, they've all got implications in that Western Conference.
Yeah, I don't know if Winnipeg gets a win against Saskatchewan, that makes the top of that division so interesting. And then depending on what Calgary does, can Edmonton stay hot? If Edmonton can take out a very good Calgary team, I think that'll be quite the statement for the Elks. But I think that's a tough ask for them to go into Calgary on Labor Day. I think Vernon Adams is, I think that Calgary team is going to be ready to go.
I think so too. Okay. Anything else before we close this show out?
I don't think so. Not a whole lot of news this week. The only thing I could find, I was telling you before we went on, was the CFLPA made an announcement that they have a partnership with Lids, the hat company. I know we have one in our local mall. So I don't know. They said they'll be able to use the brands of the CFL team logos with player signatures on the hats and stuff for a little more branding and stuff. Very interesting. We'll see. I mean, I would love to see some CFL hats at my local mall. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it would actually reach that far, but still a cool partnership for those players. Whoever gets deals wouldn't you want a Cody Fajardo hat, Dad, with the Elks, or an Arbuckle hat? Shoot.
Well, maybe I'll get a throwback Doug Flutie hat when he was with the Calgary Stampeders. That'd be cool.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if they're going to do past players. I think it was more current players, but I mean, never say never.
Hey,
I mean, if anybody knows where Dad could get a Doug Flutie hat, I mean, hit that man.
My motto. Everything was always better in the past, and I stand by that.
Yeah, because Doug Flutie was playing football.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
Okay. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Tune in again next week when Adam and I will review all the games played up north of the border. We'll be here throughout the CFL regular season, the postseason, as well as for the 112th Grey Cup game, which is going to be played in Winnipeg this year on November 16th. Check out highlights of all the games in the CFL each week at cfl.ca/videos. If you want to expand your football IQ and you need help picking out a team to follow, you're running out of time because the season's over, halfway over. We can assist you. You'd be surprised just how much fun this league is when you really get into it and you get invested in a team and the players and you're rooting for certain players or rooting against certain teams that maybe you don't like their color scheme. Who knows? If you have any questions about the CFL, you can ask them down in the comments section of this video. If we don't know the answer, we've got some friends in Canada who probably do. So remember, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than Adam and I sitting here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, talking about the CFL. Until next time, I am Randy Snow.
And I've got one last comment from the chat. Post zipline hurling sounds like the next Olympic sport could air right after curling. I agree with that. Randy, you could be the U.S.'s hurling champion.
Curling and hurling? Sounds like a deadly combination. All right, we'll see you all next week somewhere around the 55-yard line.